What's going on, everyone? It is time for a John Wick 3 review. Warning, spoilers ahead. Lots of them. So don't say I didn't warn you. And if you are going to continue to watch, then it's your own fault. Do so at your own peril. If you have watched, please continue. It's my review, my take on John Wick 3. Here we go. Last Saturday, I saw all three movies back to back to back. I went with my brothers. Our local theater was doing a marathon where you could see John Wick 1, Chapter 1, Chapter 2, and Chapter 3. It was really cool and kind of hard to do. The last time I did it was with The Dark Knight. I saw Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises. But it was really cool, really fun experience, and the crowd was awesome because you just have real John Wick fans there, so everybody's just high energy and ready to watch the film. Anyway, you get to see basically the evolution of the films. And I gotta admit, John Wick 3, it let me down a little bit. I'm not saying I didn't like it, because I did. I liked it. However, in regards to the first one has a very, it's not completely serious, but it has a serious tone throughout it with a little bit of jokes in there or a little bit of lighter humor, maybe even dark humor. And then John Wick 2, the action definitely picks up a lot more with a little bit more jokes. John Wick 3, everything is more everything. It opens with probably the coolest knife fight scene I've ever seen in my life in a movie. It picks up right where John Wick 2 leaves off. That you should know. So he's running through New York, and he gets to a library where he needs to get a couple things that basically is going to move the plot along. Apparently he has a marker as well that he gave to somebody, which was Halle Berry's character, and that plays a part later on in the film. That's how she actually gets involved in it. But it is the coolest knife fight. After he gets out of the library, gets his stuff, he runs into an Asian group, and they are looking to kill John Wick to get that sweet 14 million. Oh my gosh. Like, the whole thing was just, I don't even know how to describe it. It was just so fast. They're just throwing knives at each other, sticking knives in each other's back. It was crazy. So when I saw that, I was like, this movie is already got me. It's beautiful. I love it. This is what John Wick is. It's completely stylized, over-the-top violence, and I'm loving it. Anyway, so he moves on, and he goes back to an old orphanage kind of thing, I guess, that he grew up in. It's the first time you find out about it. They never talk about it in any of the other John Wicks. He has this, looks like a rosary. It's like a beads with a cross on it. And apparently this allows him to use whenever he wants, that they will give him safe passage to wherever he needs to go. So obviously it works right now. The whole world's out to get him, and he needs safe passage. His goal is that he's going to talk to the Elder, which is in the John Wick hierarchy there's the Elder, there's the High Table, and then there's pretty much everybody else, where it falls into the Continentals in each region, and then the different organizations that are a part of it. He wants to get to the Elder in hopes that he can just finally retire and get out. And then throughout the whole thing, there's this adjudicator that comes around and is basically, her part was kind of boring, to be quite honest. I didn't really care. I guess it is a little bit essential to the plot, because what she's doing is she's shutting down the Continental that we know, the one in New York City, with Ian McShane's character. I don't remember his name. but Ian McShane plays him. He's the leader of the Continental in New York City. What happens is John Wick then gets to. This is actually turning into more of a summary, isn't it? So, but this is the part where I just kind of. It got a little too cartoony for me, to say the least. Because he gets to basically India, and this is where he runs into Halle Berry's character. Because he's getting to India because he needs Halle Berry to help him find the elder. No, she's going to help him find somebody else who then helps him find the elder. I don't remember what this guy was. And she talks to him. She doesn't want to help him at all, but in the end, she helps him. Halle Berry's character, I was really excited for her character. And the dogs, totally awesome. Loved the dogs. They really helped carry that movie. Halle Berry, she did a fantastic job for what she could. You are so used to seeing John Wick running around, gunning down people, fighting hand to hand, and he is so smooth. Halle Berry, she does a fantastic job, but you can tell she's just not as fluid, to put it bluntly. She's just not as fluid. And so she stutters a little bit, like, even in the movements where, like, John Wick would just be like, throw the head down, the knife in the back, or the gun to the head. She would throw the head down, and you just know she just paused for a second to remember what she needs to do or something, and then the gun goes to the head or something like that. So there's just a little bit of hesitation in her movements. But overall, I think if she makes an appearance in the next one, which I got a feeling she might, because apparently her daughter, that's why she gave the marker to, or that's why she agreed to use the marker with John Wick, is he helped her get her daughter to safety. So I have a feeling she'll probably pop up in the next one. I mean, it totally ends on a cliffhanger. Not really a cliffhanger, but hey, we are totally going to pick up where we left off on this one. Basically, what John Wick has to do is he has to wander in the desert until he's almost dead, and then the elder will come get him. That's what they tell him. So he goes and he literally wanders in the desert. It's kind of funny because before Halle Berry drops him off and he's really thirsty. She has a little bit of water left. She drinks it, swishes it around in her mouth, and spits it back out in the bottle and gives it to him. She doesn't like him. He takes it and he starts wandering around the desert. And I gotta tell you, when he was wandering around the desert, I was just thinking to myself, he needs to be back in New York. What is he doing out here? This is so just not what's supposed to be going on. Like, it just felt so weird. It would be like, the Ninja Turtles traveling back into feudal Japan, that they need to rescue somebody so that way it changes. Oh yeah, they made that movie. It was Turtles 3 and it sucked.
Hey, you were expecting maybe the Addams Family? Good one.
Funny, it was Turtles 3. This is John Wick 3. So anyway, John Wick, he finally passes out. The elder comes, gets him. Which, again, I'm just like, who is this elder? Why is he here? What is the point of all this? I didn't like it. It took me out of the movie, to be quite honest. It just took me out. So he talks to the elder, and the elder basically says, look, this is what the deal is. You're never getting out. If you want to continue to live, to remember your wife, and have that memory of love, then you have to commit yourself to the organization. And John Wick reluctantly agrees to it, and to show his fealty, he cuts off his finger, his ring finger, and gives his wedding ring, actually, to the elder. The elder accepts, and then we're right back in New York. Then it feels like John Wick again. He gets back. He's chased by this guy who the adjudicator came to see, and she basically recruited him to find and kill John Wick. And meanwhile, John Wick's over there. The adjudicator went to the Continental in New York City. She said, hey, you didn't kill John Wick when you were supposed to, and you let him go and have an hour head start, so clean up in 7 days or get out. In his mind, he doesn't say anything, but in his mind, he's like, I'm not doing that. And she also went and saw Lawrence Fishburne, the leader of the homeless people, and basically did the same thing. His organization needs to be dispelled, and he got cut 7 times as a punishment. So John Wick gets back, and this Asian guy, I don't remember his name, but he is tasked to hunt down and kill John Wick. And as soon as he gets back, this guy gets right on his tail, and they end up right at the Continental, the New York Continental, and John Wick places his hand on the door, the footsteps of the Continental, and the concierge guy, he comes out and says, hey, you can't kill John Wick, because his hand is on the steps. And I don't remember why that was legal, because the Continental at this point was shut down. At least I think it was. Anyway, let's fast forward because it's getting a little boring. That the Asian guy that hunts him down, he's real serious through the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, when they're sitting in the Continental together, John Wick and this guy, he morphs into this fanboy, which they were making a lot of jokes to that. Of like, oh my gosh, this is John Wick. Everybody knew him, and like they knew the story of his dog, and his car got stolen, and this is John Wick, the legendary John Wick. And everybody was like, it was a little just kind of dumb. That's what I'm saying. It got too cartoony, too jokey. Like in John Wick 2, when T.I. and him are in the Continental, like they have a completely serious interaction. T.I. didn't care who he was. T.I. was there to kill him and was going to kill him. He didn't fanboy over being with John Wick. And I really like that. I was so hoping he was going to return in John Wick 3. He doesn't. Because that would have been, I was really hoping to see him again. To wrap it up, basically, John Wick is sent there. Oh, yeah, that's the big thing. John Wick is actually sent back to kill Ian McShane's character, which he's totally down to do. When he goes up and he finds Ian McShane also approaches him. I was going to say the actor's name because I don't remember his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue, but I don't remember. Basically, he tells John Wick, hey, you can kill me if you want. I'd rather you kill me as a friend than an enemy kill me. And he gives John Wick a gun to do it. And he says, but just so you know, I'm kind of going to go to war with the high table. Just leaving that out there for you to think on before you make your decision. The adjudicator then comes out and she's like, so what's your guys' decision? What are you going to do, Ian McShane? Are you going to leave the Continental? He says, nope. And she says, John, are you going to kill him? And he says, no, I'm not. What happens next is the adjudicator sends out a decree that the Continental in New York is condemned. It is off the table. It is not safe. Business as usual can take place inside the Continental. So basically a war erupts. Ian McShane, John Wick, and the concierge guy all go into this gun vault room and they load up on guns, John Wick and this concierge guy, and they go to war against everybody who's coming into the Continental to kill John Wick. In the end, obviously they win. There's some sweet, just such good stuff. The way he holds and maneuvers the shotgun and how he pulls the shells out and he just slides them in just like so easily, just like butter on bread. It's beautiful, and he's doing it. It's not some CGI thing. He's really doing it. It is so good. In the end, what happens is the adjudicator then comes. meets I can't remember how they get onto the rooftop somehow. I don't remember how it happens. But basically everybody inside is dead. And John Wick and the concierge guy are still alive. Oh, one of the coolest parts is this, like, it's not a SWAT team, but they're armored to the teeth. You have to really hit them in the right spots to kill them because they're just wearing body armor, head to toe. And John Wick is just having the biggest struggle trying to kill them because he's shooting them and he has to get up close and like tilt their head back and like shoot them right in the back of the neck, and you're just like, this is crazy. And so at one point, him and the concierge guy go back into the gun vault, and John Wick's in there first, and he's saying, I need firepower. I need heavier firepower. And Ian McShane's just like, you got a whole arsenal in here. Take what you want. And it's really funny because the concierge guy, he comes in and he's just miffed. He says nothing. He just goes, walks right in, takes off his coat, and he just goes straight to the shotguns and just pulls one down. John's like looking at him. Oh, okay, I get you. And so he goes over there, and the concierge guy pulls out these shotgun rounds that are armor-piercing steel slugs. And he's like, this is going to get through anything they have. And so they load up. And when they go back, oh my gosh, the first thing you see is John Wick. He gets the shotgun and boom, shoots a guy in the head, and the head just goes all over the place. So cool. Anyway, what I was getting back to was, in the end, John Wick, the concierge guy, and Ian McShane are all on the rooftop with the adjudicator lady. Basically, Ian McShane, you think, kind of turned on John Wick. Kind of. And he shoots John Wick, and then John Wick jumps off the building and falls. He falls like 8 stories, and he survives, and which is kind of whatever. It's John Wick. Of course he's going to survive. The reason he did it was apparently he wanted the place to be shut down because the whole reason they shut him down is because they felt he was incompetent as leader of this Continental. And so to be shut down and then to go through and defend it the way it was defended with John Wick and basically the concierge guy, basically that was the proof that they didn't know they needed, but he was doing it. Hey, I went through all that and I defended the Continental. So you should keep it to me, or you should let me keep it. And so she kind of deducted that as she was explaining what her thought process was. And then that's when he was like, John Wick throws up his armor-blocking coat and then jumps off the building. And then when she gets downstairs, she goes around to look to find his body. He's not there. Next thing, he gets picked up by one of those homeless guys and gets brought straight over to Lawrence Fishburne's character, who is healing from his 7 cuts. It ends with him being like, I'm pissed off, John. I'm pissed off. Are you pissed off, John? And John looks up at him and says, yeah, I'm pissed off. And then literally credits right there. So in the end, I really liked John Wick 3. I really did. I really did like it. I don't think it lived up to John Wick 1 or 2. I think it was just a little bit cartoony, and they should have toned it back. The whole desert thing going to India, it just didn't fit. It did not need to be there. I wish it wasn't there. It was just so weird and just misplaced, and I didn't like it. Didn't like it. I think that was my biggest gripe. That literally was my biggest gripe. That's my biggest peeve of the whole movie. I just thought it was stupid. So I think in the end, if I was to score on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd probably give it an 8. Nah. Well, okay, I'd give like John Wick 1 a 10, John Wick 2 a 9, John Wick 3 an 8. Maybe like a 7.7 or an 8. Like 7.8. 7.8. So that's my review of the whole thing. Like I said, really liked it. Go see it. I do recommend it. Go see it. You'll definitely enjoy yourself. Highly recommend. And see it in the best theater you can. Because, oh my gosh, there is so many sounds of guns that just echo throughout the whole theater. You need to see it in like a great theater with great sound, great bass. You need the full experience. Anyway, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the like button. It really helps out. I will be back with more. I'm going to be reviewing the Iron Sights book here soon. So I'll get that up. And yeah, I'll be back with more content very soon. So please stay tuned.